All right, so let's take a look at the app in action. Once you get it downloaded, you'll have an icon that looks a lot like this that says URSecure on it. The first time you log in, you'll have to actually log in with your credentials. Once you have that done, it'll bring you to a screen that shows all of your accounts. So you can have one or hundreds of accounts, and they'll all show up here. And you have a little ability here to search through and narrow it down. So if you're looking for all of your buildings in some particular city or zip code, that kind of thing, you can kind of narrow down what you're looking at. Since we've only got 3 on here, it's pretty easy to manage. And once you're looking at all of your accounts, you're able to uh, do a certain amount of stuff with all of them at the same time. So, for instance, if you wanted to look for the history of all of the accounts that are listed, now it comes up and says that there is no history because it defaults to looking at only 8 hours of history. So I need to go in and filter that a little bit and say, let's see, show me the last 7 days. So once I update it and actually look at a few days worth of data, you'll see that there's signals coming in. So we've got an auto test signal from that account, 9R95025, an auto test from R95026. We've got some tests being put into action and taken out of test. So you can kind of see the last 7 days worth of stuff that's happening on all of the accounts that you had listed in front of you. So we go back to that list. Oh, before I leave that though, one that I like when you've got, especially if you've got a lot of accounts on your list, you can do an accounts without, and what that means is you're looking for all accounts that don't have any activity. So this, for instance, is one that if we take a look at that one and the history associated with just that account, you'll see that there's absolutely no activity. And you can tell that we're already back at the 7 day mark. So we haven't seen any sort of daily tests or anything like that. It would be a red flag and a reason to take a look at that. All right, so go back to our accounts. We can go in to an individual account. Now that we've selected an individual account, probably the most common thing that a user would do would be to place the account on test. So to do that, you might figure you touch that button, you get a chance to put the entire account on test, so the central station would ignore any traffic from it at all. Or you can pick a condition category like alarm, trouble, supervisory, that kind of thing, or a specific condition. If you're kind of a high-end user and you know all the points and all that kind of stuff about your fire alarm system, you can use that pretty easily. But I think most common is put the entire account on test. So you have to provide a passcode for that. So we're going to say John is the guy putting it in test. He's going to go in and select how long to do the test. We'll say 6 hours. Once we're happy with that, we say do it. It confirms that that's what we meant to do. And then it's actually going on to the central station server and placing that account on test. So no phone call necessary. You just have to be authorized by the administrator of your accounts to do that kind of thing. And once you've asked it to go into test, or once it's accomplished, you see that the now big green check mark says the entire account was put in successfully placed on test. So we'll say that we got done a little early doing whatever maintenance or testing we might have been doing, and we want to take it back off a test. We go back in, we say remove all from test. Yes. And same thing, it's contacting the server, going through its little please wait thing, and it's going to tell us here in a second that we've got a green check mark that says it was successfully removed from test. So like I say, that's kind of the most common thing you're going to see, and it takes a few seconds to do that, but it saves you placing a phone call and potentially being on hold because they're busy responding to alarms and doing what central stations do. So we'll go back at our account list. Probably the second most common thing, if you're looking at your account, would be to look at the history of that particular account. We've kind of already seen this, so I won't spend a lot of time on it, but We went in to before we went and looked at our entire list. Now we're just looking at the activity of that one account. A good example of how something like that might be used. If you're the maintenance guy on call, you get a call from your central station that says, "Hey, I've got a trouble from your fire alarm panel." You might check this first to see, could be that you get a low battery condition or something like that, and give you a chance to go by and pick up a battery on the way to that site. So let's see. The other things that you might do, and I don't know that I would recommend it necessarily from the app. The web browser version of this thing is a larger, obviously larger screen, and a little easier if you've got a mouse and a keyboard in front of you. But you can go in and add and delete passcodes. Then these would be the passcodes of the people that are able to log into the application. So you'd have somebody that has all access, might set up somebody that can only do cancel and history, that kind of thing. Other thing you might want to take a look at is the party list. So when we set up the programming for the central station, we list people that are responsible. So if you get a trouble at 2 o'clock in the morning, who do we call? This is the party list that would be used in that programming, and it have their phone number and what days of the week they are available and that sort of thing. So you can go in and modify that. And like I say, the app might not be the best place to do that, but certainly it can be done. But more than likely, if you're an administrator doing that kind of thing, you're probably sitting at your desk and you can use the web browser version anyway. So that's kind of a quick view of the application. If you're interested in a little more detail on it, let us know and we'll provide that.